Acer's Nitro series is among the most popular best cheap gaming laptops, but not all of them are good. The latest Acer Nitro 5, 2022, however, leans toward the buy it side. Both models we tested boast strong performance, a comfortable keyboard, and a bright 15.6-inch, 1080p display. However, both also struggle with a dull panel, tiny speakers, and battery life that could and should last longer than the competition. The $999 price for the NVIDIA RTX 3050 Ti model isn't too bad, but a whopping $1,299 for the RTX 3060 is a little excessive, especially with its flaws. The Acer Nitro 5 is one of those laptops that is a better value the cheaper it is. I'd recommend this to anyone willing to get the cheaper model and wait for a good discount. We tested two models of the Acer Nitro 5, 2022, one of which costs $999 and is outfitted with an Intel Core i5-12500H CPU, an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3050 Ti GPU with 4GB of VRAM, 16GB of RAM, a 512GB SSD, and a 15.6-inch, 1080p, 144Hz display. The second model we tested runs for $1,299 and is nearly identical save for the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 GPU with 6GB of VRAM. For those with cash to blow, you can configure Acer Nitro 5 with Core i7-12700H CPU, RTX 3070 Ti GPU with 8GB of VRAM, 32GB of RAM, a 2TB SSD, and a 15.6-inch, 1440p, 165Hz display, all for a whopping $2,299. However, the interiors are both the same, each sporting a matte black deck with a 4-zone RGB lit keyboard and a cutout for the vent just above it. The display's bezels are relatively thin, but the panel has a floating effect off of the deck due to the gap between the hinges. I'm not a fan of this design because it only makes the chin much larger. At least the webcam is located on the top bezel. At 5.5 pounds and 14.2 x 10.7 x 1.0 to 1.06 inches, the Acer Nitro 5, 2022, is a little big compared with competing devices. We're putting it up against the MSI Katana GF66, 5.1 pounds, 14.1 by 10.2 by 1.0 inches, Dell Inspiron 16, 4.4 pounds, 14.0 x 9.7 x 0.70.8 inches, and HP Victus 16, 5.4 pounds, 14.6 by 10.2 by 0.9 inches. On the left, there's a security lock slot, an RJ45 Ethernet port, one USB Type-A port and a headphone jack, while the right holds room for two USB Type-A ports. The Acer Nitro 5's 15.6-inch, 1920 by 1080 display is a double-edged sword. On one side, you'll be slicing your enemies with a bright panel clocked in at a 144Hz refresh rate, but on the other, you're damaging yourself with lackluster colors. I booted up Assassin's Creed Valhalla and ran through the roaming fields of England, but the greens and yellows of the land looked as dull and dry as the place that ever tried to escape. However, it didn't look so bad when I had to climb into dark areas, as the bright display guided me through. And the high refresh rate made combat smooth as a Kinder chocolate when I turned down the graphics. In the trailer for Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, I could make out some detail in the hundreds of faces staring at the lich-like being during the craned camera shot. But in the wide-angle shots of the chaotic cities, lush forests, and volcanic caverns, it looked lifeless. For those that are wondering at home, yes, both models feature the same panel. According to our colorimeter, the Nitro 5 covered only 45.4% of the DCI P3 color gamut, which doesn't even cover the budget gaming laptop average, 52%. It was slightly more colorful than the Katana GF66, 43.9%, but the Inspiron 16, 67.9%, and HP Victus 16, 77.1%, were more lively. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos.